All right. Doing a video. Haven't done one in a while. Been at my job for 6 weeks. I've been to Orlando, Savannah, Chattanooga, Atlanta. Did I say Atlanta? Um, and Blue Ridge. Uh, so yeah, that's like every weekend. So I haven't been playing DFS as much because I'm putting in my lineups late. And so I know that. So I'm not doing the same amount of research. And if I'm not doing the same amount of research, I'm not going to put out videos for you guys because it's not as good, which sucks because I had some absolutely great picks. I just haven't been able to make as many lineups. Uh, Bad glare on the hippie glasses. So my boy Jimmy the Greek called me out saying I dropped out this time last year. Yeah, he's 100% right. I did. So no point not making a video. So my bad. Super busy, getting used to. I had to set up my Wi-Fi too. You know what? I'm done with excuses. So thanks, Jimmy, for calling me out. I'm gonna make a video. I've been focusing more on the 1 o'clocks lately. I don't like all these teams dropping 30 plus points, and I really don't like when I have 150 to 170 point lineup after the 1 p.m.s going into the 4 o'clocks, and I faded the wrong guy. I had 3 weeks in a row where I had 1 to 3 guys left. I need value picks. I'll give you some. One to three guys left. They all got hurt. So I've been fading more of the 4 o'clocks, but I'm gonna give you picks everywhere. I'll go right into it. If you're gonna play quarterbacks first, I'm gonna focus more on DraftKings, and I'll tell you which one's a better pick on FanDuel or not. But as for quarterbacks that I like on DraftKings, you get that 3 point bonus. So if you're going to pay up for quarterback, there's really two main strategies. Do you pay up for quarterbacks or not? General rule of thumb is you pay low own, highest ceiling you can for GPPs, and just low doesn't really matter for cash, just a high floor. So low salary. So for that, it's going to be Fitzpatrick. For if you're playing cash, that's easy. Doesn't matter if it's GPP. Doesn't matter if it's cash. You're going to play Fitzpatrick. For GPP, he's going to be high owned. For cash, he's going to be even higher owned. He opens up your lineup the most. Carolina is susceptible to quarterbacks and wide receivers. And on DraftKings, he's only 5,500. And when he did start the first 3 games, he got you that 3 point bonus. He's going over 300 yards, throwing every time. So he's going to be your best pick right there for quarterback. But if you're going to want to play GPP, you could fade him because you don't know if the Fitzpatrick Mr. Interception's coming out or not. Better than Winston. But if that's the case, then I really don't mind Joe Flacco there for 5,300. He's got a great matchup, and it's at home against Pittsburgh. So I really do like Joe Flacco there for the price, but I don't like his ceiling. He's got a good floor, but that's about it. So for cash, I like him. I don't like him for GPP. For GPP, I actually like Matt Stafford for 5,600 against that Minnesota defense. In Minnesota, he's going to be low owned, and he's going to throw the ball. So I actually like Kenny Golladay being there a lot. They just got rid of Tate, so they're going to be running out Jones and Golladay. I get that. You might think they rely more on the run, but they're going to have to keep in this game. It's got a very high over-under. If you haven't watched my videos before, I like focusing on what I call the game script theory, and that's where you take – I used to be 48 points. Now it's 50, and I take the over-under for the teams. I take my favorite matchup, and I usually take the quarterback that's not favored and the running back that's favored, and I stack the quarterback and use the favored running back. So in this case, you're looking at like Fitzpatrick and OJ Howard, or Fitzpatrick and Mike Evans going against a running back for Carolina. I want to do that this week for that because I like Fitzpatrick, but I don't like the running back for Carolina against that Tampa Bay D. So as for other quarterbacks, I like Stafford in GPP. I do not like Rivers, even if the implied total, like I said, I don't like these 4 p.m.s. Me personally, I'm fading the 4 o'clock slate. I'm going to play just the 1 p.m.s. I think there's much better value there. A lot of people are going to play Baker Mayfield. Go ahead. He hasn't gotten over 20 points all year on FanDuel. Let me see on DraftKings. Okay, he's got 2 20-point games, 121 and 1 20-point game. So you guys use him if you want. I know he's going to be a high pick because he's going up against Kansas City, usually a defensive coordinator that steps into an offensive coordinator position in the matter of 6 days doesn't bode well for a rookie quarterback. I do like Landry because of the targets, but I don't like Baker. I don't like Matt Ryan against Washington. I don't like Big Ben at all against Baltimore. That's a GPP play. If you guys are crazy, play it. Never going to tell you not to do a GPP play. You can't. It's a GPP play, you know. But Mitch against Buffalo, I don't like that pick either. That's another one of those GPPs. Like the dude can run. So you get that. I just really like this Buffalo defense. They gave up 1 touchdown to Tom Brady last night. That was it. Pretty good offense they were going up against. I like Russell Wilson at home, but his regression, I just don't think he's going to keep throwing. He throws like 12 completions and 3 of them are touchdowns. Like, come on. He throws more completions than that. But yeah, I don't like that. He's not running the ball. He doesn't need to run the ball. He plays better in November, but he's just the only reason I like Wilson more in this one is because the high implied total and he is at home. So for a GPP to pivot off of the guys right above him, which are Goff, Breeze, Cousins, Watson, Cam, and Mahomes, I do like Wilson here. He's going to be low owned. Goff, Breeze, yeah, they're both good, but I don't like Cam Newton or Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson can get you the 3-point bonus. Cam Newton for passing yards, Cam Newton can't. He's done it once this year. He's not going to throw for over 300. He's going to have to get all his rushing. Tampa Bay 6 against the run. I think that limits his ceiling on his rushing. And for Deshaun Watson, he's going up against Denver. In Denver, I actually think they're a lot better defense at home. So I don't really like Deshaun Watson or Cam Newton. On FanDuel, I like Cam Newton a lot more. And Patrick Mahomes, if you got enough money in your lineup for Mahomes, you use them. So yeah, favorite quarterbacks there for a GPP are Wilson and Stafford. Value pick, just lock in Fitzpatrick. If you're playing cash, you can lock him in. Todd Gurley, obviously next. I don't like Melvin Gordon at Seattle. He's banged up. I don't know how much he's going to play. I don't like McCaffrey. I really like Hunt. I'm going to get a lot of exposure to Hunt. Kamara's price is coming down because of the whole Mark Ingram situation. And guess what? So is his ceiling. So he had a great game last week with 2 touchdowns. So he still got you a big game. And now that Ingram's back, ownership is going to go down. His salary came up a little bit compared to last week. So you still get Alvin Kamara at a discounted price. So I think he's a better GPP play than a cash play. I don't think he's going to get you 100 yards rushing or 100 yards receptions. So you're going to lose both of your bonuses there. I don't like James Conner. You can use him against Baltimore if you want. Don't like Tariq Cohen. I know Adrian Peterson has a great matchup on paper. But some of that to running backs to Atlanta are pass catching, and Chris Thompson should be back this week. So, and don't let AP fool you. Like, yeah, he had an amazing game last week. He had over 30 points. Before that, he had 11, 9, 6, and then he had 2 20-point games and another dud in between them. I think with Chris Thompson coming back, he's back to like a 12-point game. So I don't like AP either. Kerryon Johnson. Yeah, everyone is on the hype train. He's going to be amazing, but he is a cash play. He's got a great floor. He's not really going to do anything huge. The week he did amazing. He was involved in both in the pass game and in the run game, and he had that massive run game. Theo Riddick should be back. I don't care for Kerryon Johnson. Let's see who I do like, though. I like Kenyon Drake against – I'm a Jets fan. I'm just wearing this because it's a big game. My best friend's a Saints fan. I like Kenyon Drake against the Jets at home. Not a great implied total, but he is the home favored running back against a mediocre run Jets defense. So I do like Kenyon Drake there. If the coach actually figures out what the heck is going on and how to use him, he's coming off some great games. After he started off real slow, he's got 24, 11, 18, and 23. So I really like Kenyon Drake there at 5,300 for what should be a low ownership. Latavius Murray is going to be high ownership, but I do think that's one of those value picks at 5,100 for, I mean, yeah, he's going to be higher ownership, but that's fine. Nick Chubbs is going to be very chalky. He's 4,500 going up against a horrible, horrible defense. Just be careful of that because I think they're going to get so far behind that, like, so quickly. Yeah, their defense is good. They just had a lot of turmoil. So I'm going to have exposure to him because of his price and because of his talent and because of the matchup. Like, everything's there. So the home field advantage is there. The implied total's there. The talent is there. The matchup's there. But he is the Kansas City's favorite to win by 8.5. So little afraid of that. I like, and I hate this one, Isaiah Crowell. He had 4 bad games in a row. If Elijah McGuire comes back and good to go, he might take some snaps away from him. The thing is, though, he's still the main runner. He's still going to get – I don't like that his attempts came down, but that's because they went up against the Colts in a massive, like, it turned into a shootout, but he had 13 attempts there, nothing great. Minnesota, blowout, 11 attempts. Chicago, blowout, 13 attempts. I think this gets back to a more balanced approach, and he gets you, I'm hoping, 15 attempts, but he's only got that twice this year. So you're probably going to see another 13 attempts, which means he's going to have to be extremely efficient. But I like his matchup and I like his price just because I like slotting in running backs in my flex. So I think that's a good value pick there for Isaiah Crowell. I'm going to have mostly all my exposure to Kareem Hunt. And like I said, I like to play the 1 p.m.s this week, so I don't have to go up against New Orleans, the Rams, the Chargers, and the Seahawks. I'm going to stick to the 1 p.m.s. But obviously, you're going to play Gurley no matter what. Like, every week, you're going to play him. Gordon, to me, is more of a GPP, and I like Hunt and Kamara actually more than Gordon and McCaffrey. And then after that, I'm looking down for Kenyon Drake and Latavius Murray and Isaiah Crowell. I'll go to tight ends real quick. The matchup for both Tampa Bay and Carolina is amazing. The implied total is huge. The defenses are both horrible against tight ends. And that's everywhere. That's not on just DraftKings because everything takes their rankings differently. It's just Greg Olsen and OJ Howard are both amazing. My favorite stack this week is Fitz Magic to OJ Howard. I really like that one. David Njoku, people are going to use. That'll be a good one. High implied total. He's very versatile, athletic. He's a freak. But I like Greg Olsen too. If you're looking to save money, I'm not going to use Travis Kelce. I'd rather save that money and put the extra $2,000 in salary towards a running back. Trey Burton has got a horrible matchup, but he's also not going to sustain. He's extremely efficient right now, and that's very hard to sustain. I don't like Austin Hooper. Vance McDonald, medium matchup, but I don't really care for that. Kyle Rudolph has a good matchup, and he's getting opportunities in the end zone. He's just not converting them yet. So I'm going to say he gets a touchdown this week. So I like Rudolph this week. I do think he gets that touchdown. I put him at like 11 points this week. Other than that, I know Herndon is a little chalky. He's a much better pick on DraftKings than FanDuel. On FanDuel, you can get David Njoku for cheaper. So on DraftKings, I think he's priced where he should be. And for his price, I think that's great. If Griffin is back for Houston, then that's good because his price is so cheap. So I do like him there too. He's 2,500 as a starting tight end. And Herndon for the Jets is getting a lot of involvement, and he's got a decent matchup. He's 3,000. So I like Herndon and Griffin for tight ends for a pretty much like a punt. I think Kyle Rudolph at 3,600 is a great deal. Me personally, I'm going to not really pay up for tight end. I'm going to stick to OJ Howard as my main lock, who's cheaper than David Njoku in DraftKings. So I will take OJ Howard all day on DraftKings. As for defense, as ugly as this might be, a lot of people just play punt defenses and they say, oh, well, defenses don't matter. Both Millie makers won off of some amazing defensive players, one week with the Rams, one with the Ravens. So defenses do matter. If you do have some extra salary, don't just overlook a phenomenal defensive matchup. Although this week, I don't see there being many phenomenal defensive matchups. I do think Denver at home against a horrible offensive line with Houston and a beat up secondary for Houston. Denver gets to control the ball with the running game. Just because the secondary is so bad, I like everything about this defense for this matchup. Houston just lost Will Fuller. They're going to bring the safety over the top with DeAndre. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league, but if not the best. But in Denver, it's going to be hard for that Houston team to keep up, and Demaryius Thomas is not going to go back in and just go crazy in a revenge game against his old team. So I like that Denver defense because they are home for 2,300, and the other 2,300 that I like, and I know this one's ugly, is the Bills. You can do worse. Like, I don't see any of these other, like, Rams defense are averaging 10 on DraftKings. Texans are averaging 9, which that's not a horrible matchup against Denver's offense. And then you got Bears against Buffalo, which is going to be the chalk. And that's one of those things that I'm saying, if you could pay up for a defense, and people are saying defenses don't matter, I don't really see many good defensive things. In GPPs, I would play Buffalo. Really no one else except for maybe a Denver. But even Seattle, I'd be good with Seattle. But for pretty much everything, you're going to see people go Chicago. Nathan Peterman, the interception machine. Nathan Peterman's going to throw more completions to Chicago than he is his own team. So, yeah, everyone's going to play Chicago. In a GPP, you could fade that. But at the same time, if Chicago destroys Buffalo and the defense gets 17 points and you're over here with a cheap defense that got you 4, you're going to miss out. So don't just think defenses don't matter, because the difference in points and the difference in salary is a phenomenal comparison. Wide receivers real quick. I'll blow through those because I got stuff to do. Thielen for 8,900. You're going to play him in anything. Maybe not GPPs because his ceiling is it's awesome. His floor is amazing and his ceiling is super high, but you can get a cheaper receiver with a big ceiling too. Spoiler alert, Julio won't get a touchdown this week. Antonio Brown against Baltimore, don't like that. Hopkins against Denver without a second wide receiver to pull distraction away from him, don't like that. I love Mike Evans there. I don't know why Carolina's ranked that high on DraftKings against wide receivers. They're not. I do like Mike Evans there. Even if Bradbury's on him, it doesn't matter. I liked Odell against Bradbury, and he ripped him apart. Mike Evans is even bigger. And Fitzmagic does not care. If Tyreek's groin is good to go, he's in an away game, so we all know how good he is in away games. I'm not going to play Julio against that secondary. I think Washington. I can't tell if Washington's for real or not. I do call Atlanta winning this game though, but I don't call it being high score because Washington can't score. So, and I think Atlanta's defense plays up because they usually do that to teams that are better. But I don't know if Washington is better. But I don't think Washington's offense can score, even against that Atlanta D. Mike Thomas against the Rams, for his ceiling and his floor, and then look at his price in a shootout at home, he should be one of the higher owned receivers. Did his salary come down? That's crazy talk. Yeah, it went up 400 from last week, but that's only because it went down so much. So this is actually the second cheapest we have seen him at all year. So I think he should be a lock for anything GPP and cash. Nope. Keenan Allen. Nope. Juju Smith. Robert Woods, Mr. Safety Floor himself. Like, yeah, he's great. You just slot him in for 15 to 20 points. Don't even think about it if you have the salary. But he's not going to have the same floor or ceiling as Diggs, Cooks, maybe Sanders, guys that are priced right around him. Me personally, if I'm paying $7,000 for Woods, I'm going to try to find 600 extra for Michael Thomas. If you cannot find it, yeah. I mean, you're in a shootout. A lot of people are going to target this game, which once again, that's why I'm not playing the 4 p.m.s. I think LA Rams at New Orleans is going to be like 35 to 33. And I think the other game that's going to be crazy scoring, not crazy scoring, but Chargers Seattle, I think is going to be a good one. I don't think Houston Denver is going to be great. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks that one's going to be great. But am I missing any other game on that 4 o'clock slate? I thought I was. Okay, yeah. Pretty much I just want to fade the Rams New Orleans game because I also think Chargers Seattle is going to be a sneaky shootout. So any of those are going to be easy picks. If Darius Slay is going to be covering Diggs, that's not a full fade. He's had some big games he's given up. So I really don't mind Diggs there at all, especially coming off some big games, which we knew would happen. I've been playing Diggs because of the positive regression. So I played him back-to-back weeks, and he's got, let's see, in 4 weeks, he's got 19, 24, 14, 30. So I wouldn't play him as much because he had such a great week last week. He's not going to get 30, and he has a tougher matchup against Slay. But I do like him right there at 6,800. I really like Landry in not a shootout, but in a garbage time must throw situation, Cleveland desperation game. Sanders, I don't care for Sanders as much. He's a great floor. He's got a good ceiling too. Houston's defense secondary is completely beat up. Just Case Keenum sucks. And that Houston front seven's good. Mostly their front four is good. I like Cortland Sutton too because you can just get a knockoff version of Sanders that's going to be on the field a lot more. He's going to be chalky, but that's fine because his price is so cheap that it's not like horrible if he doesn't hit. He's 3,900 for a wide receiver. And Houston secondaries, they don't have a secondary. So I do like Sutton there. If you really want like a Emmanuel Sanders, but you can't afford it, just do his little brother, Cortland Sutton. You'll be fine. Like I said, I like Landry. Cooper Kupp, still questionable. Even if he's not questionable, or even if he does play, I don't know how much I like him because he's coming off an injury. He's had one monster game and 3 good ones. And then he got hurt, and then he had a mediocre against a good secondary, but still, I don't see him having the same floor or ceiling as a Woods, and I don't see him having the same ceiling as a Cooks. So I don't really care for Kupp as much. I don't really like any of the Atlanta receivers. I like John Brown, but Joe Flacco is not connecting on the deep balls. But he's throwing so much to John Brown that it doesn't matter. And I don't think this is going to be one of those really ugly, low-scoring AFC North games because Pittsburgh doesn't have the same defense as they used to, and Baltimore doesn't have the same offense that they used to. Pittsburgh's defense has gotten worse. Baltimore's offense has gotten better. So I don't think this is going to be like an over-under of 44. I think they're calling for 47 right now, which I usually like to target games at 48. So I do like John Brown there at 5,800 for that ceiling. Funches, he's just never going to give you a huge game. He's just going to give you a good game. I don't like stacking Matt Stafford, which is weird because I like Stafford, but I didn't care for his receivers against Minnesota. So that might, and like I said, that was a GPP play for me. With Tate gone and Jones having a huge game, I think Galladay is actually the guy to have, and they're priced almost identical. Who else do we have? You could play DJ Moore from Seattle, because Doug Baldwin's not doing anything. It just every single week, Tyler Lockett gets a touchdown, and it's insane, actually, to the point where it's like infuriating because I refuse to play him. Like, I'm just like, there's no way. He has 6 touchdowns on the year, one in every single game but one. I mean, that's insane. And not only that, but his highest game, he's got a 19 and 18 and a 17, and then he's got a 10, 11, 12. So you're saying to me this dude has 6 touchdowns in only 3 decent games. It's just infuriating. So yeah, you can play DJ Moore. Just know that's going to be a little chalky, just because of his price is super cheap too. But you get a very high implied total game and a home favorite. They just don't throw the ball much in Seattle. So I don't like anyone Chicago, Buffalo at all. I don't like Atlanta, Washington at all. If you need a punt play, then I hate to say Josh Doxson, because Atlanta secondary is so bad. But with Chris Thompson come back, he's going to take targets. Jordan Reed is leading the team in targets. No one's really doing anything there. They're running the ball first and playing good defense. But I think this week they actually are forced to throw a little bit more. And Josh Doxson just has absolutely freak ability. And we saw a little of it last week where he was coming around. But that is a GPP, low owned. He is I think he was minimum priced. 4,200, and he's got a great matchup. So if you need a punt play in a GPP for a team that's going to, I think, have to throw in a good matchup, you could do worse. Oh, let's see. Go through anyone else real quick. You could play Deshaun Jackson, but if you look at matchups, he wasn't even listed. He wasn't listed as their he was on their 4th receiver option. So it just depends. Like if you go to depth chart, he's up there as 2, but then if you go to matchups, he's not. So that's kind of weird. I'm wondering, with the emergence of Chris Godwin, if he's taken a back seat and Chris Godwin's the starter. I haven't been able to watch or pay attention to just how many snaps and whatnot Deshaun Jackson's getting. Because it doesn't really seem like it matters anyway. His targets are usually what I look at, and he's got 3 games of decent targets, and that's when Fitzmagic came back. The other 2 were where they scored a ton of points. So every time they scored more than 30 points, Deshaun Jackson has gotten 8 or more targets. Oh, no. Okay, completely made up stat, fake news. He's in love with Fitzmagic, so you can play him. I just know he's going to be a little chalky for his price, but who cares? High implied total. They're going to be forced to throw, so I like Deshaun Jackson there, just because Fitzmagic has that relationship with him. If Tyreek Hill's out, you can go Chris Conley really cheap, or you can go Sammy Watkins. I like both of those. I think actually if Tyreek Hill's out, it favors Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt more so. But I do think Sammy Watkins gets 3 more targets. Danny Amendola, another cheap guy that you could play this week. And then DJ Moore down there for 4,300. Antonio Callaway, for his price in that matchup, it's not horrible. Like I'm saying, for GPPs, great value plays, or not Walmart brands, but value plays. Antonio Callaway's right there. So just a really quick go over who I like. And then Adam Humphries is 3,600. So for who I like on receivers, named a couple cheap guys. I was saying DJ Moore. David Moore is Seattle. DJ Moore is Carolina. David Moore for Seattle, cheap. Adam Humphries, you could play him just because Tampa Bay is a 6.5 point underdog in a very implied high total. I like Cortland Sutton. He's going to be a little chalky, 3,900. Josh Doxson for a GPP play only, just because he had 5 catches on 5 targets last week. And this week, I do think he's going to have to get a few more targets because they're not going to be able to run the ball as much, just due to Atlanta scoring somewhat. Antonio Callaway, the targets are there. This dude sucks. But he did go 5 for 6 last week for a touchdown. And now they're going up against Kansas City. So I do like Antonio Callaway. And then Chris Godwin's right there. I like Devontae Parker against Jets, beat up secondary, and Danny Amendola, both the same price. I would go for the upside. I'd go with Parker. And then you got Deshaun Jackson for $5K. After that, I don't really like many receivers in that price range until you get up to John Brown for $5,800. And I like Landry, Cooks, Woods is an automatic cash game. But then I'm going to try to get as much Michael Thomas as I can for $7,600. Thielen, that's always a given. And I don't like Antonio Brown or DeAndre Hopkins. Tyreek Hill, monitor his groin. Julio Jones can't get a touchdown. So I like Mike Evans and Michael Thomas there of those big receivers. So that's it. Throw out a quick video. Did my research before this, but I didn't realize. I was like, oh, I'm doing the main slate for everyone. So like I said, I am focusing on the 1 p.m.s this week, just because Todd Gurley ruins everything, man. Also at the same time, makes everything good. But the dude's good for 30 points no matter what. You literally have to make a lineup around him. Why his price came down on DraftKings, I don't know. Collusion. Definitely a conspiracy theory there. So I'm definitely fading the Rams Saints game because I am not going to have an awesome lineup and not attack this game. And I'm not going to not play any of the 1 o'clocks so I can get as much of this game as I can. And then that completely flopped. All of a sudden it's like 27-24 for the Rams Saints game or something. And you're like, well, that's not what I expected. So I'm fading the 4 o'clocks. I'm actually not playing the main slate this week. I'm playing the 1 p.m.s. And that way I don't have to figure out a lineup around Gurley. And I kind of like just being able to watch the 4 o'clock games. And then I'm like, all right, well, I already know what I did. And if I want to, I can play like Superflex for 4 o'clock, 4:30, or Sunday Night Football. If I still need my DFS junkie, if I still need my fix, then I can still do that. But thanks, Jimmy, for calling me out. Sorry, I get busy with life. I should be better on these. If I'm not, I'm not. But just drop another comment, make fun of me for not making a video. So anyway, good luck, guys. Comment what you guys like. Stacks real quick. You guys thought I was done. Like I said, anytime you can get Mahomes. So you can stack him with anyone. It doesn't matter if Tyreek's out. For GPP, if you want to pivot off of his salary and still use Mahomes, which isn't really the right term. If you want to lessen the blow of his salary, you can use him with Chris Conley. But stacks that I like are going to be Fitzmagic stacks. I like those. I like, Goff Gurley. You get the full access. I like the Breeze Thomas. Those are expensive. I feel like if you're playing the main slate, you have to attack the Rams Saints game. That is going to be a game stack for me if I were to play that, and I might still play a little bit of the main slate. So, and yeah, I think that's a massive game stack there, which hasn't been hitting as much since like Atlanta or the New Orleans Tampa Bay game week 1, and New Orleans Atlanta game week 2 or 3, week 3, and then and now you got Rams New Orleans in the dome. So I do think that's a game stack because game stacks haven't been hitting as much this year as team stacks have. So yeah, I would definitely go Goff's. No, I'm going Breeze at home. So go Breeze at home with Michael Thomas, and then probably like Cooks there and TG, and then good luck making the rest of your lineup. So you're gonna have to use like Latavius Murray, Kenyon Drake, Isaiah Crowell, some of those types of guys, Cortland Sutton, stuff like that. But yeah, then other than that, I really just like Fitzpatrick and his boys. I kind of like Flacco with John Brown. You can use Baker, Landry, and Cash. I really wouldn't use it. I don't think he's got a ceiling enough for both of them for GPPs. And then Russell Wilson with David Moore probably. And yeah, that's it. Other than that, like you can pay up for some of these stacks, Drew Brees, Jared Goff. But that's what I'm saying. Fade the 4 o'clocks, go the 1 o'clocks, play Cash, don't play Mahomes, play a lot of Fitzpatrick, and then you can get a lot of those big guys in the 1 p.m.s. That's my strategy this week. Tell me if you think that'll work or not. Comment who you like, who you don't like, who's going to go off, who I went over, didn't go over, whatever. And let me know. Good luck, guys.